Ryan. In this episode of Odessa After Dark, we travel to the Metaphysical Life Fair here being held in Midland, Texas. We're going to talk to somebody who deals with rocks and crystals, and then we're going to go on and speak to a person who is a spiritual medium. So join us for Odessa After Dark. This is Daniel Ryan with Odessa After Dark. I'm here with Marilyn, and we're at the Midland Metaphysical Life Fair, and this is brought to you by SpiritualLifeProductions.com, and this is your 20th year presenting a fair?
Just about, probably about 20. I'm not for sure exactly, but about 20 years.
And the first question that most people ask is, what is a spiritual fair?
In the past, people have called these types of fairs psychic fairs, but they've grown to become so much more that we now call them metaphysical fairs. And we have jewelers and crystal vendors in addition to having numerologists and psychics and mediums. We have a biomat person here, an energy worker person here this time. So it kind of encompasses all of the spiritual arts and crafts that we are able to bring to Midland.
And so most people would find that unusual for this conservative area.
You know, it's funny because there are a lot of people out here who call us throughout the year and say, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? So it's probably the only one of its type that you have here in Midland. I think there has been one in Odessa a couple of years ago, but it's the only one of its type in Midland. So in that sense, yes, it's unusual, but there are a lot of folks here who follow us.
And so what's the best place if a person wants to follow you and find out when the next fair is? What's the best place?
That would be our website, and that's www.spirituallifeproductions.org.
And what do you do the rest of the year?
The rest of the year I produce fairs in other areas, mostly in Austin. We do metaphysical fairs and holistic fairs. I have a monthly fair at a store called Nature's Treasures in Austin. And then we have four two-day fairs, holistic fairs, and four metaphysical fairs in Austin every year.
So.
And then I'm retired.
It sounds like it, yeah. Has it grown over the years? Have you seen a change?
It has grown over the years. It used to be held over in the villa 20-some years ago. Perhaps the attendance back then was a little greater than it is now. But we kind of went down in our attendance, and now we're coming back up.
Well, so what are people coming here looking for?
They come here looking for a variety of things. Some people come to shop for the crystals that we have here, and the crystal skulls are really popular right now, and they do, Ashram does have a number of crystal skulls. Other people are coming looking for the aura photographer. A lot of folks enjoy that. It's an aura photographer that photographs the different colors of the aura that you project. And then, of course, there are always people that come for readings of various types, psychic readings. We have an astrologer and a numerologist and mediums, people that do past life readings. We do have someone here this time, two folks that are doing essential oils. So some folks, they'll come here not knowing what to expect, and they come in and they just have a bunch of surprises. So.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Sims with Odessa After Dark, and today we will be interviewing
Cindy Smith from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
She is currently running a beautiful little crystal booth here. I am in love with all of it. Can you tell me which one of these crystals is your favorite? I was just looking at all of them and I would just not want to give them away.
I have so many favorites here, it would be hard to know where to begin, but I can tell you that clear quartz amplifies any energy you put it with. That is why you don't give it to a teenager. But you can hold it to your third eye and charge it to do what it is that you want it to do for you. Whether you have a crystal or whether you have a sphere, you can hold it and ask it to bring you peace, ask it to heal your body. You can ask it to assist you in a certain way. Once you give it a job, it is less likely to amplify everything that occurs around you in the day. Smoky quartz absorbs negativity. Carnelian helps with the body's base energies, so that let's say you need more fuel in your boiler. It will help with that part of it. It also helps to control anger, which is very good for some of us. This is jet. Feel how light this is.
Oh, wow.
Jet is fossilized wood. It's considered to have magical properties within Wiccan societies, within Wiccan tradition. For me, it helps to absorb emotional wounds. Very good for that. Rose quartz is one of the primary divine love stones. It helps you to remember to love yourself and love others. I had a friend when I was still working the 9 to 5, in addition to doing this on the weekends, I had a friend who was a severe alcoholic, and she needed rose quartz. She needed to have rose quartz with her all the time.
With the rose quartz, do you find or do you see that a lot of people that have alcoholic problems or drug problems are more drawn to it?
In this particular case, you were talking about someone who had probably tremendous self-esteem issues, and she desperately needed to be able to love herself and love others again. If you don't love yourself, it actually interferes with your ability to love others. So it's more personalized. Sometimes with alcoholics you'll see hematite being what they're drawn to, because hematite is so grounding. And I wish I had one to show you right now, but it's very heavy, extremely heavy. I've heard that it's even used in the oil field as drill bits. It's so heavy. But this was particularly her need because of her self-esteem issues. All of the blue stones work with the throat chakra. They are all about communication. And frequently with lapis, what you will see is someone that is having difficulty standing in their own truth and speaking their own truth. It's not, the truth that I need to run you down in the parking lot. It's just coming from, your place. This is what is right for me, and this is what doesn't work for me. Some people are not able to stand in that truth and communicate from there. So frequently you will see that as what they are drawn to, what they need. Now, when I talk to you about what the stones do, I'm giving you just not even a thumbnail sketch. I'm giving you the very briefest of outlines as to what they do.
So I see that there is a lot of the crystal skulls all over your table. Can you give us an insight on what the trend is with the crystal skulls? I know there's some history, a lot of history, whether good or bad, on crystal skulls. But can you tell me your intake on it?
I was one of those people who we've had our business for 28 years, and I started out with the intention that I would never ever work with skulls. I wouldn't even shop at a place where they were sold. At that time, the number one show that we did on our circuit was Kansas City. The people in Kansas City would come to the booth and literally beg, "Cindy, we're studying skulls in class. We need skulls to work with. Please bring skulls when you're here next. We will buy them." And for 2 years, I went la 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 because I wasn't going there. It wasn't going to happen. And after about 2 years, I had the talk with me. "Cindy, these are your friends. You have to bring skulls." So I called the supplier, asked him when we were there next to have them ready. When we walked through the door, there was one on the shelf that happens to be back here with us today. And that began my process, my journey of working with skulls. What I have learned is that they activate dormant parts of your DNA, they accelerate your spiritual growth, they teach you, they heal you, they guide you, they assist you. And every time I think, okay, here's the list, I know exactly what they do, I can recite it to you frontwards, backwards, then they show me something else. But one of the things that fascinates me most about the legend of the 13 ancient crystal skulls, the legend of the 13 ancient crystal skulls exists in virtually every native society on Earth. And think for a moment about how many native societies that would be. The legend says that the 13 ancient crystal skulls will come back into our awareness at a time that is crucial in the evolution of Earth and crucial in the evolution of mankind. So let's think for a moment about that word back. That means at some point back there, we knew who made them and how they were made, when they were made, why they were made, where they were made, when to use them, where to use them, why to use them, how to use them. We understood all of that at some point. But the thing that absolutely intrigues me most about the legend is that if the ancients could have seeded anything here for us to find at this crucial time to use as a tool to assist us now, they could have seeded crystal dog biscuits, crystal elbows, they could have seeded anything. And crystal skulls are what they chose. And that tells you that crystal skulls have to be very important. In other societies, in other parts of the world, they are a highly revered part of sacred belief and religious practice, and people use them in their homes every day because they are recognized as containing the knowledge of the ancestors and the wisdom of the ancients. Now, someone did a fabulous job of going around the world and dividing us by belief system, by culture, by religion. We were taught that skulls represent death, but in other societies they are highly revered. They're considered sacred. Let's look at death for a moment. So you go to Egypt and someone dies. Let's preserve every part of that body. You go next door to India, somebody dies. Let's put the body on a huge fire and burn it up. You come here, someone dies. Put the body in the ground, let it rot, let it renew life on earth. We were divided. We were taught not to look there. Someone didn't want us to look. So to me, that makes it even more important to look.
Yeah.
The journey with skulls is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And as I said, we've had our business for 28 years, but I'm to the point that I work almost exclusively now with skulls. Would you like to meet the ancient skulls?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Was it hard to find them, or did you just?
Well, yes, you can't go to Walmart and buy an ancient skull, or probably not any skull in Walmart. So it was.
And we're glad about that.
Yes, we are.
Had nice skull shirts.
So we, at that time, our number one skull supplier was living right outside of Conway, Arkansas, and it was his big goal, his big dream, to have a show in his hometown. And he was connected to Nick Nocerino, the man who recovered Shauna Ra, has the ancient skull Shauna Ra. So Nick told him, if you have a show in your hometown, I will come to your show. I will bring Shauna Ra as a door draw, to bring people in. About 2 weeks before the show, Nick died. And right before his death, he arranged for a mutual friend of theirs to come to the show and bring Shauna Ra. So at this show in Conway, Arkansas, where there were no people, I got to spend all of this quality time with Shauna Ra. And I met the man who was escorting Shauna Ra, and he had amazing skull inventory. And so I looked at what he had, and I knew he had a lot more inventory at home, that he brought just a sampling to that event in Conway. And I said to him, do you have any more skulls at home that I need to know about? And he said, I've got this ancient jade skull. And I said, well, how much is it? And he told me, and I recovered, and then I thought, well, maybe in my next life. So a few more weeks go by, and the guy from Conway calls, and he says, I have a chance to buy the ancient jade skull. Do you want to partner? And so I said, tell me what's involved. He tells me, and I said, let me think about it. And I hung up, and I thought to myself, think about it? And I called him back, and I said, yes. And then through a series of very unusual events, it turned out that we did not partner for it. We ended up with Osh by ourselves, and Osh has been with us now for 10 years as of last month. He and his brother Argaya, there were at least 8 to 9 skulls recovered from the one site, possibly 13, but 8 to 9 that we know of. So Gaia resides in Oklahoma City. He is visiting. He and his companion, Ma Green, are visiting. But he and Osh are the ancient skulls that you can sit with at the fair if you come to see us.
The crystal skulls and what each one of these crystals mean.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I enjoyed it very much.
We continue on talking to some of the people here at the Metaphysical Fair that you can find at the Grand Texan. It continues on until 6 p.m. on Sunday. And I'm with Shelly Billings. She's actually one of the few people here based in Odessa. She's a licensed massage therapist. She's a Reiki master and teacher and spiritual medium. And so, how are you today?
I'm good.
And so, so you've have three interesting jobs. So which one are you doing out here today?
Today I'm reading cards and mediumship.
And how long have you been reading cards?
Probably since about 94.
So did you
that would be like 20
almost 20 years?
20 years.
So did you just pick it up one day and like, I feel called to do this, or?
No, I was born with my gift, but one day I ran into another psychic, and she kind of trained me in the cards and learning to trust my intuition and how to focus it to help others. So, some of us are born with it, all of us have intuition, and some of us need teachers to show us how to use it and how to
So how do you
allow it to grow.
So is it a gift that you can turn on and off? Like, I just don't want that faucet to run today.
Not at first. When I first started really opening up, you can't, but you get used to turning it off. And, if you don't want to read everybody's mind, you just shut it off and focus on what you do. So at first, it's like being bombarded with everybody's energy. But eventually you do. You just kind of push out what you don't want to know. Like, I don't go around reading everybody's mind. It's when they ask me, can you help me or talk to me? Then you open up to it. Otherwise, you'd be crazy people.
Well, it would have to be a quite daunting task after a while to always be open, and I would get all these thoughts and just go insane. Like, okay, leave me alone. Now you actually have an office in Odessa at 1406 North Grandview.
Yes.
And so, if somebody wants to make an appointment with you, is there, I guess, on how much is the cost, and how long is the session, or how do you work it?
Well, I also do massage out of that office. So the hour is $65, and usually I don't do 30 minutes. Those are just not quite long enough. So an hour, hour and a half. Some ladies stay 2 hours.
And that's just the massage.
Massage and reading.
So they do so they do everything.
I also do Reiki sessions in there. See, so my whole business is about healing. I just use different modalities. There's a lot of people in Odessa who don't believe in intuition and angels and stuff. So through the physical, like the massage, I'm also giving them Reiki, helping them heal, and most of the time help them open up. So.
Okay, so if we say somebody who has no idea what you're talking about right now, what is Reiki?
Reiki is a universal life force energy that through classes and attunements, you learn to channel God's energy is the way I describe it. It's universe universal life force. It's in and through everybody. So you learn to channel it. You learn to heal yourself. You learn to share it with others. You learn to heal situations. I mean, it's like totally connecting to home.
And you were a teacher of this also.
Yes, I'm a Reiki master and teacher.
And do you do classes or
Yes.
individual? And,
Yes.
And so,
If you take a Reiki 1 class, then you are immediately certified to practice at a Reiki 1 level.
is there homework?
No. No.
Can't take a class with homework.
That's the way most people think. You learn it in the class and you practice it with others so that if and when you decide to open your own Reiki practice, then you're certified.
Plus, you've got competition, so you're supposed to teach them just right there and then go.
No, there is no competition in Reiki because you're connected to your guides and your masters in a Reiki attunement. So you're just totally connected to your own path. I mean, there's no competition. There's nobody that's better or less.
But are you one of the few people in Odessa that offers it?
I must be. I've got 1 or 2 masters in there that chose not to go to the teacher level. So I've got, I think, 3 masters over there. But they mostly use it on themselves. You can do that. You can go into the teaching where you pass it on to others. Or even Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, you're a practitioner, so you can share and heal others.
Well, Odessa needs a lot of healing at the moment, so
I agree.
you do a good thing.
The way I start is to ask you to state your name and your birthday.
My name is Daniel Ryan. My birthday is March 21st, 1963. And if you want to say I look good for my age, you can.
I was going to say that's borderline Aries Pisces. Which is it?
I'm Aries by 10 hours.
Okay. Alright. So when I ask your birthday, what that does is opens the book of life so we can read in it and see what's coming for you in your heart.
Okay.
We say a prayer that only the truth comes through. Your guides and angels. So that's a protection now. We don't get any false information. And I'll pass these to you to cut. And then I'll ask you to pick one card.
I should pick in the middle because that's probably what everybody does, but I want that one. Now, is this called a certain display of what you're doing here?
No, this is not a standard layout. This is one given to me by my guides.
Okay.
So that I know what to read, what position. This is what they showed me to do.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. This is making me nervous.
Wow.
My cards for the camera.
Okay, up here, this is your outcome
Okay.
of recent events, and it looks like a few struggles. Have you just started this not long ago? New idea, new beginning?
Yeah, I'm always filled with creative ideas, yes.
Okay, because it shows that you're a dreamer. So you dream up lots of stuff. I'm working towards stardom, but this is also, see, a balance between earth and heaven. Okay, so you've got the material and the spiritual working for you. Okay, you've got good news coming soon. Good messages probably that you're carrying out. So you're doing good work. Not just for yourself, but for the planet. I have to ask you to scoot over a little bit. Working towards your own power, which is good. So let's look at the layout. Yeah, establishing yourself well in the earth. See, you're working towards that. We're always working on our path to establish more and better and growth and see, working towards oneness. Got a lot of new beginnings there. So there's the power, there's the balance that you have in creating what you want in the world. This also shows that you're an old soul.
I hope you enjoyed in our lovely festivities that both Daniel and I participated in. Hopefully, if you're interested in coming to see these crystals or coming to have your palm read or just coming to try something new, you can follow the Psychics or the Spiritual Life Productions at www.spirituallifeproductions.org. That's where you will find a lot of the psychics, a lot of the crystal owners, and just where a lot of the booths came from. So that's it with us. Thank you for enjoying Odessa After Dark. I'm Kaylee Sims.